Hi again. Here we are. And I don't know if you're noticing, but right behind me is one of the feline members of the family. So she may or may not stay with me for these couple of minutes. I want to talk with you, but just wanted to point her out. That's what all the shelves are for. They're for the felines who live here, so they can get a different perspective and be above it all and kind of look down on the world around them. So, what I want to talk about this time is to share some thoughts and ideas about asking for help. And I mean this in a very specific way. In the world I grew up in, I don't know if I've mentioned this on any of the other videos, but I grew up in a world that was, by its nature, multidimensional. My grandmother was a clairvoyant and a healer, and she also was keenly aware of what are often thought of as invisible realms. Some people call them the subtle realms. So the process of growing up in a home where that was a given has always left me with a bit of a wider perspective on reality than many of my friends had growing up at the time. The things that she believed in and taught about are now almost, they're not exactly mainstream, but they're not nearly as wacky as they were when I was young. And one of the things that she always talked about, she was my first spiritual teacher. So I got the download from her about her multidimensional world. And one of the things she reminded me of often is always ask for help. Just make it a habit, even though you don't know who or what you're asking. You can think of it as asking our collective human consciousness for a download, or being aware that we're part of collective consciousness. So maybe we have access to a lot of information. My grandmother always talked about the rain cloud of knowable things. And she said the rain cloud of knowable things is raining down on everybody all at once. And so information is available to everyone. I think in those days, people didn't talk so much about collective consciousness, even though Carl Jung was no doubt around in her day. I think she wasn't tuned into psychological ideas like collective consciousness. So for her, it's the rain cloud of noble things raining down on everyone at once. And that, for example, I don't perceive the way she did, but I have the belief that if I ask for help, perhaps an idea will drop in or an answer will drop in and I'll have it. And I have many times gone to sleep at night saying something like, I have this problem and I really need an answer to it. And I really appreciate input. And sometimes I wake up in the morning with the answer. Now, someone could quite rightly say, well, that's your own deep unconscious working on it overnight. But when I lived in California, I'm originally from Hollywood, from LA. And when I lived out there, I had a cat at one time who was such a quirky, she was such a quirky being. And all of a sudden, at one point, she developed really bad allergies and she was sneezing and snorting all over the place. It was really dramatic. So one day I just said to the powers that be, if anyone there works with cats and can tell me what I need to know, I need help because she's a mess. And within a couple of minutes, I was walking across the living room floor and I didn't hear a voice, but a thought dropped in that said, you have to get rid of the floor pillow. Well, someone had given me a beautiful, big pillow for the floor, upholstered, kind of knitted, upholstered. It was quite lovely, woven. It was a woven. It was really nice and big. And this just whoop, plopped in, said, you have to get rid of that pillow. That's the problem. And I did, because I listen to those things when they drop in. Okie doke, we'll try this on. And lo and behold, her allergy cleared up right away. So I've had a lot of examples in reinforcement about ask and then notice what drops in. So I basically am doing this little video just to invite you to ask for help, ask for input. When I am doing my psychotherapy practice, and I've taught this to everyone who consults with me, I don't know if they use it, but I have certainly told them, when I really feel stuck and I might be working with someone where we're really into some difficult material and I'm not sure what to do, I always talk about it as I bump it up a level. And I just say, okie doke, I do not know what to do here. We need some inspiration and some help. And then I go quiet. I don't try to figure anything out. I go quiet and I just notice what drops in. I think a really important part of being aware of inspiration or collective wisdom that we're drawing on is to stay out of the part of the mind that wants to figure it out. What we're really doing is opening up a receptivity, asking the question and then just leaving it open. And in fact, asking the question and in a sense, walking away from the process, not waiting with bated breath until it drops in, but tossing it out there and seeing what lands back. That's really kind of this is another of those examples of being willing not to know, the importance of being willing not to know and being willing to just be open to receive what wants to drop in and offer us possible guidance. It doesn't mean you have to follow it all, but just notice what happens if you play with developing a habit of asking. And then just notice what drops in along the way that actually might offer you just the nudge you needed, or just the word that was missing, or suddenly, this is the other thing actually my grandmother said about intuition. She said, intuitive awareness just lands on you all at once. It doesn't come in little pieces. It's one moment you don't know something, and the next moment, there it is. It's not a rational, figured out process. It's like it arrives. And so that's basically what I'm inviting you to play with. Ask for guidance and see what arrives. And that's about it for now, other than inviting you to just take a moment to settle on in and land in yourself, because I didn't do that at the beginning, and just notice, how does it feel just to be resonating with the idea of the possibility of asking for guidance and asking for help? And so my little sweet feline friend and I, family member more than a friend, and I wish you well. Until next time, take good care and bye for now.